Hi, Shelley here. Today I want to make some art for the gallery wall in my front room. I'll be using a couple of recent pictures of my boys printed onto tissue paper, but first I'll start by collaging with some meaningful papers I found relating to each one of them. I hope that you'll enjoy this video, that it'll inspire you to break out your art supplies, go through your stash, and get creative. So let's get started. If you saw my Amelia video a few weeks ago where I printed her face, I printed her whole body out on tissue paper, then you know how I did this, and you might want to fast forward through me explaining how I did this. But just quickly, look, I am no expert at paint or any of these graphics programs, but here's what I do to make this happen. Here's my cheat code for how to remove the background from something. I take the picture that I want to use, either one from my phone or one on my computer, send it to my phone. Once I have it on my iPhone, I bring it up in my photos, I hold my finger on the picture, and a little white lightning looking bolt goes around the subject that you've got your finger on. And then a little box pops up and asks if you want to add a sticker, and you just click that you do. And then get out of that and go into, I like to go into my email. I address it to myself, and then in the body, I click the little emoji sticker at the bottom left of the screen. And my emojis come up with my stickers. I click on the sticker that I want to send to myself through the email, and then I send it. I don't even put a subject. I just send it. And then once I get it, I save the attachment onto my computer. I open it up in I use Corel Paint Shop Pro just because that's what I've used forever. And I watched a video a long time ago about how to make a black and white image or a stencil from an image. And so I went through the steps, and that's how I get this. Then I put this with a little bit of two-sided tape onto a regular piece of printer paper and put it through my printer, and then I get my image on a piece of tissue paper. And you could tell mine is torn up at the top, but I'm not worried because once I get it down and everything else that's going on top of it, you won't even notice, okay? So that's how I do that to remove the background of any picture. And it works if there's two people in the picture and you hold it'll take both of the people if they're hooked together. I don't think they'll do it if they're separate, but anything of like it's a girlfriend and boyfriend that have their arm around each other, it'll do them both. Done it with our dogs. So yeah, that's a pretty cool deal. So what I want to do is I've gone through my boys' or through my computer, and I've saved some things over the years that my boys either wrote or I took pictures of their diplomas here. And I'm just going to make these be my background. Okay, and I'm thinking this is what I'm going to do for Wyatt. I did do a little pre-test to get an idea of what I wanted to do and if I had enough papers to make that work. I don't think that's enough. I like to work on wax paper. I hook two sheets together with tape so that I can move my canvas after I'm done to another part and get to working on my next one without disturbing anything. I'm gonna have to stand up so I can see where I'm at. There's going to be wrinkles and there's going to be crinkles, and that's okay. I want to do a pretty good job of getting the wrinkles out, but if I don't get them all out, I'm okay with that. Oops. I wanted that guy underneath. Ooh. Already losing some of the paper. That was not a good idea. Oh, man, oh man. Kind of grow, hopefully, if I go from the center out, I have less chance of getting big old huge bubbles. I want to make sure I don't overwork it too much. But I think it's really fun the way the black and white photo sits over the top of the writing. Now, of course, we're going to have other stuff on here too, but okay. First one in. Oh, I forgot this guy. Oh, man. Well, I can't. So what I could do is just put that right here on the edge. That's what we'll do. It'll be just as good, or better. Ooh. That tissue paper is not easy to work with. Okay. Okay, now we'll let these dry and we can do our next bit. Okay, canvases are dry and I love how they're looking so far, very fun. And I've gone through some old gel prints on tissue paper, and I kind of want to stay in the same family of colors is what I'm thinking. So that because these are going to hang up on my wall, although they are not going to be right near each other, they will be in the same area. So I kind of want them to coordinate-ish. So what I was thinking is I had a few of these in a bag. I save, whenever I have leftover, I put them into a little bag and put them aside, and oftentimes we'll use them again. And what I was kind of thinking is if I had like like a frame a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy with it because I still want to put some paint and some other things, but I just thought it would be kind of cool if I kind of had a little bit, or just a little bit on the sides just for some extra interest. I kind of like how this fills the area, but I feel like that's a bit like an alien head there, so trying to be mindful of a few words. I don't want to cover everything up, but oh, got a little tearage there, but we're gonna go with it. All right, now we dry again. All right, now I've got my number stencil and some dark gray, and I want to just go put this in some spots. I use a clothespin and makeup sponges for my dauber, and with about a 1/2 inch sticking out the bottom. That's perfect for me. And I like to work it in a little bit. I don't want it globby. And then I'm just going to go put a few here and there. And I'm going in places that don't have a lot of stuff. Have a little white space, I think. That looks like a zip code. California zip code. Then I like to slide it down a little bit, cut off that edge, move it to the 1/2 inch spot, and I'm ready to go again. All right, now I want to dry this real quick. It won't take but a second because there's not much paint on here. Next I have this little 6x6 stencil that has little, I don't know, they're little S things I made into rows. And I'm going to put a few of those on. And I don't want a big thick layer. I want just a little thin layer. And I'm just going to put it in a few spots. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I want kind of a distressed look. My paper towels out. I like to have 2 for the top, 2 for the bottom. Clean most of my paste off. Then smush. Then I've got enough off of there to go in and use it again. And if I happen to get it anywhere I don't want it, I can just take my baby wipe and wipe it up, because I've got my, this layer has got I don't think I want that on his hat, now that I think about it. And because of this decoupaged layer, super easy to wipe up any paint or modeling paste or whatever I'm doing. A thin coat of this paste dries within 20 minutes. I can be painting. You got to be careful for your paint though underneath, because obviously I took a little bit off there, but I'm okay with that. In fact, if I had some of these others that were too much, I could go back in with my baby wipe and just tone that down a little bit. Okay, all right, now we'll let this dry for 20 minutes, then we can come back and start painting. Just one other note. You probably already know this, but I always wash the modeling paste or the texture paste off of my stencils, but I do not remove the paint from my stencils. That's just how I do it. My paste is dry, and now I want to come in, I think, along the lines of my papers here, and I want to put a little bit of my navy out and a little bit of dark gray. And then to this one, I'm going to put some off-white. See what that gives us. I want just a couple of different colors of my blue-gray. My idea is just to have just a gentle kind of a wash. I don't know if that's what's going to make me happy yet, but that's where I'm going to start. Is just getting a little bit of blue. And I don't know if I want it all over or just in certain areas. I'm just going to try to mess around a little bit until and see what I get. See if that's what makes me happy. I don't want my blue to overpower. All right, now we got to decide, do I want to do a little highlighting to our S's, or do I like it like it is? Okay, now what if I make this actually a little darker, a little more navy-ish? And then I'm going to go through and just highlight a few of these, not all. Now we'll let those dry and then we'll see if we want to do anything else to them. Now I'm going to put out a few different, 3 different grays and some white, and add a little bit to this in places. I'm not exactly sure what I want, but I'm just going to play and see what happens. I think it's funny that I did not realize until doing this project that this guy who is on the board of directors for our local junior college, he's the guy, he built the house that we live in. I just thought that was pretty funny that that's on my son's forehead. I didn't realize that until way too late. So I'm wondering, and nothing against him, I don't know him very well. He lives right down the street in another house that he built. Seems like a nice guy, but I'm gonna go ahead and just see if I can push that into the background just a little bit so it's not right on my son's head. It's still gonna be there, but we'll just tone it down just a little bit. It'll be too much information, but I just thought it was kind of funny that the whole time my son was going to school there, I never realize that this guy was on the board of directors there. Do what looks good to me. Add a little bit more dimension to the canvas. Don't want that on his hairline. Well, here's my canvases. I'm really pleased with how they turned out. They were a lot of fun to make, and I think they're really going to add to my gallery wall, and hopefully my boys will like them too. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope that you'll try something like this with a photo that you have. And I hope to join me in my next video. Bye for now.